KOMU8's Decision 2024 election coverage starts now.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of KOMU8 News at 5. I'm Evie Allen.
And I'm Taylor Freeman. Thank you so much for joining us on this election day. We're going to start at the top of the ballot. Millions of Americans are casting their votes today to decide whether former President Donald Trump or Vice President Kamala Harris will become the 47th President of the United States. CNN's Jen Sullivan has more. And while polls close tonight, depending on the results in the battleground states, it could still take several days to declare a winner.
And here in Missouri, voters have a long ballot, including 5 constitutional amendments. Amendment 3 could overturn the state's near-total abortion ban. KOMU8's Siobhan Harms is live in St. Louis, where Amendment 3 supporters will be gathering later tonight. Siobhan.
Amendment 3 supporters will start getting here in a couple of hours.
All right, thanks, Siobhan. Missouri voters are deciding the future of reproductive health care rights today. Abortion rights opponents are actively campaigning outside polling locations. KOMU8's Kavya Ramesh is in Jefferson City to tell us what we can expect when the polls close. Kavya.
Abortion rights opponents say Missouri residents do not understand the potential consequences of voting yes on Amendment 3.
We're following breaking news tonight on Columbia's northeast side. Good evening, everyone. I'm Evie Allen.
And I'm John Murphy. Thank you for joining us. There's a heavy police presence along Clark Lane after a reported shooting. This is just outside city limits. KOMU8's Jocelyn Pisha is live at the scene with what we know right now.
We're here on Clark Lane, right off of the St. Charles Road exit, where we can confirm that someone was shot around 9 p.m. right at Jake's Bar and Grill.
We're starting with 2 major breaking news items tonight. Columbia police say a major crash has shut down a portion of eastbound I-70 in Columbia near the Range Line Street exit. Good evening, everyone. I'm Evie Allen. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, what you'll see is some live drone later video from our team out on the scene. An officer in the area told us 7 vehicles were involved. 2 people were transported to the hospital with injuries. Columbia Fire says crews were dispatched to reports of a crash right before 7:30. At least 2 vehicles had flames showing. Columbia police say traffic is being rerouted at the Stadium Boulevard exit. Now, video here is from when we first got to the scene about an hour ago. You can see smoke was coming out of a semi-truck that had its back doors open. CBD says westbound lanes are open right now. Officials are urging people to avoid this area. We reached out to multiple law enforcement agencies and will bring you more information as soon as we get it. And right now, we're also following breaking news out of Washington, D.C. NBC News reports an American Airlines regional jet crashed with a helicopter as it approached the runway. All takeoffs and landings have been halted. U.S. Senator Jerry Moran from Kansas City says the crash involves an inbound plane from Kansas.
Tomorrow, we will know whether Missourians will be able to vote to allow access to abortion again. Now, the fate of the proposed amendment now rests in the hands of the Missouri Supreme Court. Good evening, everyone. I'm Nathan Lee. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Now, the deadline to finalize the November ballot is the end of the day tomorrow. And new today, Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft moved to decertify the abortion measure and took off the amendment from his website. Now, this comes after a Cole County judge ruled the amendment to allow abortions again should not have qualified for the ballot, saying the groups trying to put the issue in front of voters did not inform people of what existing laws the new would do. But abortion advocacy groups quickly filed an appeal the Supreme Court is supposed to hear tomorrow. A constitutional law attorney says the timeline to get things done is tight.
Although I'm sure that the court will make the best decision that it can under these time constraints, it may be difficult for them to deliberate as fully as anyone would like for them to see.
The Supreme Court will have to decide whether Ashcroft can take abortion off the ballot and then whether abortion can even be on it at all. A long car chase in Columbia today ended with a crash and a suspect in custody. The chase started on Scott Boulevard, eventually onto Interstate 70, and ended on Champions Drive near University Hospital. Ricky Ross DeFord faced outstanding felony warrants. Officers say he was seen exiting a building and walking towards a car when deputies say DeFord fled after they attempted to block him from leaving a parking lot. Police say DeFord led them northbound on Scott Boulevard to Stadium Boulevard, turning onto multiple side streets and eventually onto I-70. Police deployed spike strips to flatten his tires. That chase eventually went south on College Avenue to Stadium Boulevard, where a crash happened with no injuries. DeFord then traveled westbound on Stadium Boulevard and turned south onto Champions Drive, where he attempted a U-turn and hit a Boone County Sheriff's Patrol vehicle, ending the pursuit. Police took DeFord to the Boone County Jail, where he faces multiple charges.
Well, today, Time magazine named President-elect Donald Trump its Person of the Year for the second time.
And as the former president lays out his vision for his second term, President Biden is making the most of the last weeks of his administration with a spree of historic pardons. NBC's Alice Barr has more from Washington.
Pennsylvania police arrested a suspect in relation to the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. New York mayor says a man is in custody in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Investigators identified the suspect as Luigi Nicholas Mangione. An employee at McDonald's spotted him and thought he looked suspicious, so they called the police. Officials say Mangione was found with evidence linking him to the crime. Thompson was gunned down Wednesday in front of a Manhattan hotel. NYPD detectives in the district attorney's office now want to question Mangione.
Federal and state authorities are trying to determine the origins of mysterious drones that have been flying over parts of the Northeast. U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he wants more answers. Today, the White House added they believe some of the sightings may actually be manned aircrafts operating legally. Many lawmakers have argued for stricter regulations. However, one drone company owner says blanket restrictions would hurt legal flyers.
In less than 6 weeks, the popular social media app TikTok is set to be banned in the United States. The app's parent company is still trying to fight a law passed by Congress earlier this spring that would ban the app if it's not sold by January 19th. Lawmakers argue TikTok poses a national security threat due to its Chinese ownership. According to the Pew Research Center, around 60% of teenagers ages 13 to 17 use TikTok every day.
Coming up, hear how Missouri legislators could put more money in your pockets of Missourians. And 'tis the season for porch piracy. Hear how you can keep your gifts safe.
Lawmakers are asking for answers after a wave of mystery drone reports. Coming up, find out why these sightings may be more than meets the eye.
And it's the 11th hour for TikTok, how the social media world could be changed by an imminent ban.
Coming up, how the Columbia Fire Department is working to address staffing shortages. And it's a cabin controversy, why one Booneville man is speaking out after the city knocks down a historic property.
Well, the Trump administration walked back an order cutting federal grants. Coming up, how one local nonprofit says the order would have affected them. Plus, a confirmation clash on Capitol Hill as RFK Jr. faces tough questions from